Saturn in 5th house in Capricorn Ascendant. Saturn in 5th house. The placement of planet Saturn in 5th house would bring a special influence upon the native's personality, as these people would carry a very serious approach towards every aspect of life, and this could be to the extent of resulting in the absence of fun and amusement in these people's life. The natives of this placement of Saturn in 5th house would be truly loyal in their relationships and would be very hard-working at their professional front, for which they would lead a good life and good growth upon land, but sometimes this much seriousness could also be painful. These people of Saturn in 5th house usually succeed in their romances and would be very much concerned towards their children's development, for which it could be somewhat difficult for their children, as the natives could be somewhat strict towards them. The natives of this placement of Shani in 5th house with hairy body would be dishonest in their approach. These natives are very much sincere and responsible towards almost everything around, but their habit of becoming exceedingly and unworthily tensed about something would be the main reason behind lack of peace of mind for them. Besides this, these natives need to understand that they have to leave their seriousness at times, and especially in intimate relationships when they require to be little romantic. The natives of this placement having Saturn in 5th house should not construct a house before 48 yoctoskins of age, and should not live in a house bought or constructed by his son. Besides this, the native should keep stuff related to planet Jupiter and Mars in her ancestral house for bringing goodness to the children. These natives should distribute and donate salty things on the celebration of son's birthday, and should offer almonds in the temple, from which he or she should keep the half of quantity at home. Saturn in Taurus. Saturn shares a friendly relationship with Venus, the ruling planet of Taurus. Saturn is the lord of karma. It represents perseverance and liberation from the mundane realm of material existence. Venus, on the other hand, is all about luxuries, material comforts, passion, sensuality and possessions. People born with Saturn in Taurus always find themselves torn between these two forces: spiritual liberation vs material existence, or detachment vs pleasure, also known as yoga vs bhoga in Vedic astrology. Saturn in Taurus also gives a strong need for emotional as well as financial security in order for the native to be happy and comfortable. Saturn in Taurus makes the person overly cautious with money matters. Such people tend to be thrifty and spend only on what they actually need. These people are disciplined and patient, have the ability to endure the harsh realities of life. They work hard for success. They are very clever and well suited for professions such as politics and business. This position of Taurus gives an inclination towards sensuality too. They can be quite tactful in love and go to great lengths to win the love of the person they want. This is because of the strong influence of Venus. First Lord in the 5th house. When the first Lord is placed in the 5th house, the person focuses on the speculation. If the planet in good dignity, then the native carried lot of blessing from the previous lives, fame without effort, interested in spiritual practices and study of scriptures, knows to do right things, playful, likes games and amusement, romantic, have good children, and intelligent. If the planet is not in good dignity or weak, then the person feels restless, not able to meditate or practice spiritual, trouble in romance and in dating, speculation fail, possibility of child loss, or trouble with children, and dishonest. Second Lord in the 5th house. When the second Lord is placed in the 5th house, the person earn money through intellectual. If the planet in good dignity, then the native is make money through government agencies and employees, has good past credits from previous lives, develops good money saving strategies, high intelligence and ethics, enjoys studying the ancient scripture, makes money through speculation, spirituality, sports and entertainment. If the planet is not in good dignity or weak, then the person have problem with taxes or the IRS, not able to enjoy and fun of life, losses through speculation, spends unnecessary on children and romantic partners, not speak properly, and dishonest. Saturn in 6th house in Capricorn Ascendant. Saturn in 6th house. The planet Saturn or Shani is a strong celestial presence and is an explicit expression of firmness for which the arrival of Saturn in 6th house of horoscope chart would bestow all the hard shades of the planet to the aspects of this house. Saturn or Shani will play a major role in the life of the native. The native of Saturn in 6th house would carry a very serious and sincere approach towards work, besides which they are strongly hard-working and determined personalities upon land. These people are concerned about even little aspects at work for which they would be handling heavy responsibilities, besides which there would be much work pressure upon the native. These people are quite workaholic in attitude, as they will only think of work and not even little about their comfort and well-being. They will accomplish all of their work well and by their own. The natives of this placement of Saturn in 6th house strictly ask for sincerity at work from others, as they don't want any kind of fun at work, besides which they lack the flexibility and carry a firm attitude at work. They put all of their endeavor at work and wants others also to do the same. The severe and stern attitude of these natives at workplace would be the major cause of some bitter relations around. They would carry unreasonable worries and would also face some health problems as well. The natives of this placement of Saturn in 6th house should marry after 28 octoskins of their age, as it would be a pleasing conjugal path then. The natives should pursue the works related to Saturn at night, as it will bring true benefits to the person. Besides this, the benefic placement of Ketu would bestow strong affluence along with beneficial journeys and would endow her with a blissful and satisfied life with family. People having malefic placement of Shani in 6th bhava should not bring stuff related to Saturn like leather and iron products, as it will bring adverse impacts to the person. He or she should serve black dogs and should offer them meals with love, as it will bring the blessings of Saturn to the person. These natives should serve snakes for the welfare of children and should offer coconut and almonds in the running water. Saturn in Gemini. Mercury is the lord of Gemini and it shares an almost friendly relationship with Saturn. Saturn here affects the judgment of the person, since Mercury is the significator of wisdom. Such people tend to be deceptive at times. It also makes the native vulnerable to addiction. These natives tend to become mean and selfish at times. Saturn in Gemini also gives a tendency to wander a lot. These people lack stability and organization in life. In fact, they lead quite a messy lifestyle. Saturn in Gemini makes the person narrow-minded too. This placement of Saturn also gives the native interest in chemical and mechanical sciences. Such people are quite systematic and logical in their approach. They have exceptional reasoning ability. They are quite resolute and have good problem-solving skills. They always make a move only once sure of the outcome. They never get the jitters in critical situations and face problems in a cool and collected way. However, they do face difficulty in processing new information. Discussion helps them understand things better and reach to a conclusion. First Lord in the 6th house. When the First Lord is placed in the 6th house, the person focus on the service. If the planet in good dignity, then the native have strong capacity to deal with opposition and adversity, comes out of conflicts, energetic, hard worker, have good skill in defending and protecting, have high sense of service, drawn to healing, good with animals, get benefits through mother's siblings, and good resistance to disease. If the planet is not in good dignity or weak, then the person is have struggle in life, deceptive, gets into debt, has lawsuits and personal attacks, impatient, aggressive, takes his special diets, weak digestion or hyperacidity, prone to inflammatory disease, accident and injury prone, and may have problems with pets. Second Lord in the 6th house. When the second Lord is placed in the 6th house, the person earns money through service. If the planet in good dignity, then the native is income generated through service occupations such as healing, protection service, armed force, martial arts, fighting, legal trade, remain victorious, may earn money working with animals, makes money through enemies, perseverance, and hard work. If the planet is not in good dignity or weak, then the person have struggle in saving money, gets into dispute, loses money through accidents and health problems, gets into debts, speech problems, may have eye teeth face, mouth disease, bad eating habits, eating disorder, harsh speech, and expense on pets. Saturn in 7th house in Capricorn Ascendant. Saturn in 7th house. The planet Saturn or Shani is perceived to bring both adverse as well as pleasant impacts upon the native's life, but a wiser would say that the Saturn or Shani takes to through a harsh path for making you stand well upon the blossoms. In the same way, here Saturn brings pleasing impacts upon the native's conjugal path, which is believed to be stable and balanced. The natives of this placement of Saturn in 7th house would be very much sincere towards the aspect of marriage and relationships, and the over-concern is the only reason for their delays in getting married, but it leads them towards a very stable path of marriage. The presence of Saturn in 7th house will definitely bring hurdles in the path, but here the saying about that problems makes stronger comes true, as the native would keep on walking with the partner in a continuous strengthening path. Altogether, it may lack the peace at times, but it will be a strong relation in the deep. These people having Saturn in 7th house are perceived to marry a wiser and serious persona who would be a truly simple personality. These natives would be quiet, reserved in their attitude, and would have only few relations around for not being much flexible, but they will be deeply attached to their fewer relations. These natives can only put limited efforts in a relationship, as the need of fulfilling exceeding responsibilities can force them to flee away from that particular relationship, but they should not be misunderstood for being careless, as are deeply serious towards their relationships. In truth, they are true and best partners if given some required space and freedom. The 7th house in the horoscope chart receives the influences of planet Mercury and Venus, who are natural friends with Saturn, for which the arrival of Saturn in 7th house would be truly positive and would bring growth and dominance to the native. The native having Saturn in 7th house would be truly beneficial at the professions associated with machinery and iron. If the Jupiter gets placed over the first bhava, then it will bring you support and benefits from the government. Besides this, maintaining good and true relations with wife would bring prosperity and wealth at home along with good health, while on the other hand, involving in adultery or any kind of addiction will bring you adverse effects of Saturn or Shani. You should bury a flute filled with sugar in a deserted place and should serve black cow for better results. Saturn in Cancer. Cancer is a sign ruled by Moon, which relates to mind and emotions. Saturn is inimical towards Moon, so it gives some mental distress to the native having Saturn in Cancer. People with this placement have great depths of character. Their thoughts run deep. Saturn gives them a reflective mind, but it fills the mind with negative and depressing thoughts. Such people expect a lot from others and get hurt quite easily when their expectations are not met. These natives majorly struggle to enjoy peace of mind. Quite often, people with Saturn in Cancer feel a sense of loneliness in their life. Their exterior is calm and collected, but they have a lot hidden, just like still waters run deep. With Saturn in Cancer, you have a strong fondness for children and friends, but you do not like to show your love and emotions to them. You are very attached to your family, which comes as both a boon as a burden. While you love your near and dear ones, there is a lack of warmth among you all. Saturn in Cancer also gives a stubborn and slow-moving character. It makes the native prone to dental problems and selfishness too. First Lord in the 7th house. When the First Lord is placed in the 7th house, the person focus on the partnership. If the planet in good dignity, then the native have good skill in relating with people, have natural ability to bring pleasure to their partners, gets help from partners, gets an attractive and supportive partner, have strong desire to relate and intimate, partner is healthy and partner may bring wealth. If the planet is not in good dignity or weak, then the person is interested too much in leasing others, loses their money on partner who became a burden on them, may face problems while traveling or while out of the country, high abnormal sexual desire, makes many partners, might become monastic in later life, and partner may suffer from many disease. Second Lord in the 7th house. When the second Lord is placed in the 7th house, the money through partnership. If the planet in good dignity, then the native accumulate money through partnership, business transaction often foreign or out of country, more successful when in partnership, helps others to improve and healthy both physically and financially. If the planet is not in good dignity or weak, then the person may suffer from depression, health may weak, sick and worried partner, trouble business transaction or foreign business partner, driven to seek multiple relationship, or may have more than one spouse. Saturn in 8th house in Capricorn Ascendant. Saturn in 8th house. The planet Saturn or Shani has always been a blend of both positive and negative, besides which it is one of the most potent celestial presence. Similarly, the placement of Saturn in 8th house would bring a blend of both adverse as well as pleasant impacts upon the native's life. The natives of this placement of Saturn in 8th house would carry a sincere and serious approach towards life and would be quiet, inflexible and firm in their approach, especially with their finances and relationships. These people would require to put all the required efforts and hard work to attain a strong place for themselves, and they are believed to achieve admirable statures upon land. The reason behind their success would be their determination and sincerity. These people of Saturn in 8th house would confront some difficulties in their personal as well as professional life, but they will emerge learned from their harshness of their life path. These people would be quite aggressive and possessive in their approach, which could bring harms to them at times. Besides this, they won't accept the changes in the surrounding easily, and this would make things more complex for them. Besides this, the presence of Saturn in 8th house will also bring somewhat difficult and painful death to the person. The placement of Shani in the 8th bhava would bring some adverse impacts to the native's father, who may have a short lifespan due to this position of Saturn, besides which her brothers and sisters would become her foes. The malefic placement of Ketu, Rahu and Mercury in the horoscope chart will make the Saturn's presence more adverse for the natives. These people should keep a square piece of silver with you for most of the time, besides which they should pour milk in the water. They should sit over a stone or wood while taking bath. Saturn in Leo. Sun is the ruling planet of Leo and it shares an inimical relationship with Saturn. Sun is a ball of fire, and when Saturn, an airy malefic planet, sits in Sun's fiery sign Leo, it naturally fans the flames. Due to this inimical relationship between Sun and Saturn, the native born under Saturn in Leo has a lot of aggression in their personality. Sun represents father and authority, and when Saturn is placed in Leo, it causes problems in relationship of the native with his or her father or authoritative figure. Such people like to live in solitude, much like a lion. They want to live like wanderers, free and undisturbed. Saturn in Leo gives a medium height and stature to the native. Such people are usually very stubborn, tough to move. They work hard in life and often work towards achieving a leadership role. They are skillful and able to carry the load of work and responsibilities. As parents, these natives tend to be quite disciplined. Such people have a lot of interest in creative fields such as writing and reading. They know that they have the talent inside but struggle to express themselves creatively. They tend to be loyal and never try to play with others' feelings. They do, however, at times feel unfortunate. First Lord in the 8th house. When the First Lord is placed in the 8th house, the person has support to the self. If the planet in good dignity, then the native is curious to know about hidden, ancient, mystical, and secret things, gets good support from others, may win at gambling and lotteries, gets insurance, settlements, legacies, and alimonies, gets wealth from partner, have good sex drive, have good vitality, and have healing ability. If the planet is not in good dignity or weak, then the person is weak in health, sensitive, lack of support from others, victim of some unpleasant situation, lack of moral, shy in nature, lack of confidence, worried in nature, mentally imbalanced, and lack of energy. Second Lord in the 8th house. When the second Lord is placed in the 8th house, the person makes money through other support. If the planet is in good dignity, then the native makes money through occult science, astrology, healer and spiritual practice, have good research and analytic abilities, get money through inheritance, insurance policy, alimonies, money from of the elderly and the closure of life. If the planet is not in good dignity or weak, then the person dependent on others for money, can be poor, financial problems, with partners, might lose inheritance, accepts too low a payment for service, may be abused by family member, depending on which planet ruled the second house, may speech problems, disease from the food, may have teeth, lips, and face problems, vision problems, lack of concentration in studies, may use alcohol or similar things,